to my channel. My name is Jen, this is Bear, and this is my Fiberweb, a channel where I talk about cross stitch, knitting, and crochet. I do have some things from all three of those categories to show you today, and I'm going to try to get through them sort of quickly. So this is going to be a wrap up for what I've been working on at the end of September, because on October 1st I will be starting my, what do we want to call it? Startober? I don't know. Basically, every day of October, I'm going to work on a different Halloween project. I do have 7 whips, I think, that are going to be included in that. The rest will be new starts. So yeah, I wanted to catch you up on what I have been doing at the end of the month so that I can start fresh on October 1st. I'm going to attempt to film clips every day where I can show you what I spin for the day and how far I got on each start. But then I will put those clips together and release them every week or so, I think. I'm not going to put up a tiny short video every day. So what else? Oh, I did want to say one thing. I am doing 2 Carolyn Manning round robins with her bouquet collection, and my projects have now moved on to the next people in my rotations, and one of those is Justine, the shaky stitcher, and in her recent video she showed my project and she said she thought I made the floss drops, and I did not. I bought the floss drops for both of my projects from, let me double check and make sure I have the name of the shop right. It's the Cottage Cat Designs on Etsy, who is the Potty Mouth Stitcher. That's her shop. So I got the floss drops I got one set for one round robin and one for the other, and like I put the extras in the bag so everybody can grab a few if they want to keep some, but I did not make those. I don't want to take credit for those. Okay, so aside from that, I don't think I have any other big announcements, so I am going to get into my stitching. So the first thing I have to show you is a finish. I'm not supposed to still have this finish. I was supposed to have sent this already, but we had a bit of drama at the beginning of the week. My youngest had to be in the hospital for a few nights for dehydration. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now, but he's fine now. He's all back to his normal self. So anyway, I was supposed to send my round robin on to Justine, and I have not yet. So this, I'm going to show it to you since I still have it here. And Justine, I will send this to you tomorrow, Monday. I'm going to get it in the mail. So this is Tasha from Bitches Get Stitches. This is her project. It's called Spice. And I showed it last time, but I was not quite done. And now I fully finished my quadrant. Sorry, that's a little bit dark. So let's see, Tasha did this corner and I did this one, and I love her colors, and I got it all complete. I think I worked on it the day after I filmed last time and got it finished up, and I did sneak my initials in there, but I'm not going to tell you where they are because I want to see if everyone else can find them. I had a really hard time finding where Natasha put her initials on Brittany's piece, so I'm not going to give it away. But yeah, this was really fun to work on. Love the color palette. Sending this out tomorrow. It's going to happen. Okay, so that was my only finish, and then I do have one new start. So Tara of Willed Woman Crafts and Marjorie of Marjorie Made started a stitch along called Moths Over Many Moons Sal, and this is a tiny modernist pattern called Moths and the Moon, and I saw it, I knew about it, I was like, that's a cool pattern, but you know, you guys are going to do that and I'm going to live vicariously through you because I have a lot of other plans. And when I looked at this pattern, which hopefully I have a picture of it up because I just have the digital version, I thought it was a lot bigger than it actually is. And then, so that's part of the reason that I passed on it, because I thought it was a big project. Like just how intricate the border is and stuff, I thought it was a lot more stitches than it really is. And then I started seeing people working on theirs. Aimee from Thread Gremlins had a start on hers. She has it on a gorgeous like dark green fabric. And then I saw Cameron's from Cam the Stitcher. and hers is on a beautiful purpley pink, and it reminded me that I had a piece of fabric. It's mystery fabric. I think it's even weave, like a Lugana. It's not as cool as Cameron's, but also I didn't know what I was going to do with it because I don't stitch on a lot of purpley pink stuff. I'm usually more earth tony type, although I have been stitching a lot on blue, and I didn't think I would like it, but I really do. So whatever. So after seeing Cam's and Aimee's and everyone else's, I decided I needed to actually jump in and not pass. So I got the chart, and it's, like I said, it's smaller than I thought. So let me show you my stitching. So I have, my piece of fabric is too big because this is the whole width. I did this border is as wide as it goes. There's like two borders. I'm not doing the outer border that has the little like oval shapes. I'm just going to do the inner one. And then, so I got the top border on so I could make sure I knew where everything needed to go. And then I got this first moth done. The Luna moth still needs the back stitching, but I'm using the called for DMC, and I'm stitching this 2/2. I think this is a 32 count. And then I started on the moth next to it. I don't know what type of moth it is, but I don't think this is actually going to take that long. Like, it's smaller than I thought. So very happy with this. And yeah, this was a fabric I got in a D-stash, so I don't know what it is. But that's pretty true to color right there. It's like pink and blue and purple. So now I have, I think, 4 whips to show you. The first one is my Night Rider cell. This is a currently ongoing mystery stitch along from Love Poppet. And I'm a little bit behind, so I'm still working on part 2, which is the rest of the moon and then this clock tower that's starting to take shape down here. And then part 3 brings out this like rooftop skyline cozy town vibe going this way. So I'm excited to get to that. And I did want to say about this, I think after today I'm going to export my progress in Pattern Keeper and then switch over to the chart for part 3 so I can move back and forth from the skyline to the moon. Because the stitching for those is pretty different, and the moon has a lot of like little parts where you have to count and be careful. And I wanted to share, in case you use Pattern Keeper and you do mystery cells like this, I didn't know if it would work. Like, I exported my progress from part 1 and then tried to import it into the new expanded chart for part 2, and it totally works. So I don't know if everyone already knew that, and I was the only one who didn't, but I was happy to see that I could easily switch between different parts and it would match everything up right and have all my progress in there from previous parts. So yeah, very happy with this. I got, Claire sent me this kit. So this is a 32 count even weave, and I'm stitching 2/2 using the DMCs that Claire provided in the kit. Happy with that one. I was working on that today before this, and I would like to try to get caught up, but October's in 2 days, so I'm probably not going to. Okay, next project, I've been keeping track of all my whips to make sure that I work on all of them at least once this year, and there are only 2 left that I have not yet worked on. Well, there were only 2 left, now there's only 1. So this is one of those. This is Tea Time by Ink Circles. And I started this one quite a while ago, I think maybe in 2022, in like November. I might have a before picture from my whip parade that I did. If not, I basically just I had the top 2 teapots and the tea bag. I think I might have had, actually, I had this one done too. Sorry, this teapot and yeah, the lemon and this honey thing. So I added this spoon and I don't know what you call that, the little like cage that you can put the tea in. And I added the word at the bottom. So yeah, I think I just worked on this for like a day and added those pieces. I did a conversion for this, and I also like changed this teapot to have like the pink and other colors. It was just supposed to be blue and white. But for mostly everything, I'm doing like close match, and I am using some overdyed, but just not the ones that were called for. So I do want to finish this year, but I likely will not work on it again until after October. And then I pulled out this WonderArt kit called Welcome. Again, if I have a picture of where I was before, I will put that in. But here's where it is now. So I added the hearts, all the flowers in the basket are new, and the letters, like I had all the letters outlined, but I think I added most of the red and the brown for some of them. So I think for this one, I'm not going to do the bottom half of the chart. I think I'm just going to cut it off right under the word welcome, so it will have the hearts and the flower basket, and I will do this little arch. But the pineapple is like, I like how it's charted, but I don't really care about pineapples that much. And then those birds are, I don't think I had ever looked at the birds until I was working on it this time, but like, I don't know, they're kind of derpy in like not a super cute way. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do the top and then have like a half circle shape when it's done. Also would like to finish that one this year since there's not much left, and I only worked on this for like a day, and I got like more than half of what was left is done now. Okay, and then my final whip that I have to share with you is my black sampler from Stitches Through the Years, which is a free chart that you can get still. I started this with my friend Brittany, sort of for sampler September, and then also it will work for black sampler November. And last time I showed it to you, I had the first row of letters done. So I picked it up the other day and I worked like back this way on this border, and then I did the letters in order, and I brought down these little side border pieces. And this I'm stitching 1/2 on this 40 count. This is a Bestitch Me linen that was an oopsie colorway, so it doesn't have a name. But that's pretty true to color. It's sort of tan with like a greenish tint. I always forget to like try to get a good picture. So yeah, that's going well. I think the next row has the numbers in it, and then there's a lowercase alphabet. But you will have seen that because I will have put the image on the screen. Really enjoying this. I'm just using 310. I don't know if I said that. Yeah, 1/2 on the 40 count. And you can probably tell I'm using a nerd hoop for this, which I have not historically used hoops very often. But yeah, I've been stitching on this in my nerd hoop in my Lowry stand and really enjoying it, stitching two-handed. It's going very well. Okay, I have plans besides my October plans that I wanted to share. I got this book, Magical Cross Stitch. I also have owned this book for quite a while, Creepy Cross Stitch. These are from Tuscan Cardinal, who is Lindsay Swearingen. And I bought this book at least a year ago, I don't know, and I'd never stitched anything from it. And this book just came out, and Allison and Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe are starting something from this today or tomorrow, and I think I might join them because I need 32 projects, not 31 for October. So I think Allison's going to do this one, which is called Altar Adornment, and Stephanie is doing Hemlock, which is this one. But she's going to do it on a lighter fabric, I think. And so I pulled out this piece of 28 count malachite by Fiber on a Whim. And I thought that hemlock would look good on this. Like, I might have to change the green for the stems so that it will show up a little bit better. But I'm okay with that. I can pick like a more yellowy green. I might look at what hemlock actually looks like to make sure I'm not taking too much like artistic license with that. But I think that one would look good on there. And then I really like maybe I should have marked these. Fancy Broomwork. I really like this one, and I think this would look cool on this fabric too because she would be like in a dark forest. So I'm gonna start one of those either tonight or tomorrow, I think, because I don't have enough whips. Okay, and then I have a little bit of haul to share with you. I haven't been showing haul lately. I haven't been getting that much stuff, but there have been some things trickling in that just haven't seemed like super exciting for me to show you. But I will show you, I got my fabric of the month from Bestitch Me. If you don't want to see this, if you're in her mystery club, then skip ahead. I get a quarter yard of, I switched to 32 count linen. I think I was getting 18 count Aida for a little while, and I switched to 32 count linen. I'm still in the mixed club where I get some neutrals and some solids. So I'm going to show it now, and I will show on the screen what the name of the color is in case you're looking away. So this seems like a neutral to me. That's pretty good. So I'm excited to find something to put on here. I don't have any plans for it yet, but I just wanted to show you. It's pretty. And then I got recently my new installment of Lindy Stitch's Endangered Species Club, and this time it is the red panda, which is adorable. That sleepy panda in the tree is so cute. And this one came with 4 skeins of overdyed. They're all weeks. It's 2 skeins of mocha, 1 of Chris's Bonbon, and 1 of Lucky. So those are ready to go. I have not worked anymore on my elephant that I started. That's the only one I've started from the series. But eventually I will get to all of them. Okay, that is everything I have for stitching. So plans, I mentioned I'm going to start something from Magical Cross Stitch, and then my other plans are my October Start-a-thon. So I will put a link to the, or it's on this side, a link to my previous video where I go through all the projects that I'm going to be working on in October. I'm planning on spinning a wheel on Tiny Decision Wheel every day. I'm actually going to spin it the day before, so like on the 1st I will spin to see what I'm going to work on the 2nd. That way, but like before I go to bed, if there's anything I need to double check, I can make sure it's ready to go. However, there are a few days that are already set that I will not be spinning the wheel for. So the first one is October 1st. I will be starting Halloween Sampler by Crochet to Go-Go, which looks like this. There is a stitch along hosted by Tashia from Bitches Get Stitches that's called, I'm going to get the order wrong, so I'm going to look. It's called Cats and Ravens and Owls Oh My Sal. So I'm starting that on the 1st. And then on the 6th, I'm going to work on Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. That one is already a whip for me, but I'm working on it that day because Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe is going to start it that day, so we're going to work on it together. And then on the 10th, I think it is, I'm going to be starting Trick or Treat by Prairie Schooler with Tracy from OG Stitchery. And on the 19th, I'm going to start Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow with Alex from Salix Stitches. So those are the 4 days that I have set. And I did already start Autumn Dream with a friend, which is by Cottage Garden Samplings. So I'm still going to work on that one day in October. It'll be on the wheel, but I did already start it along with her. So yeah, those are my plans. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like hold myself to only working on one project every day. Like if I have a new start and I'm not super feeling it, I'm still gonna start it, but then I might work on something else. I often work on a couple things in a day. I've also been knitting and crocheting a bit more these past few weeks, which I will show you shortly. So that those things might be mixed in too. And when I do my little daily clips, I'll let you know what I ended up doing if it um, if it veered off of my plans from the day before. Okay, so I have four. I'm gonna have to grab one of them. 1 second, and then I will have four yarny projects to share with you. Okay, I am back with my four yarn projects. Two are crochet, two are knitting. I'm going to show you them in just like size order, smallest to largest, which is not an indication of like how much I worked on them necessarily. The first one, this is called the Coracle Cowl. It is by Ysolda Teague. It is part of her Knitworthy collection from last year, I think. So she does a collection every fall of 6 patterns that are good for gift knitting. Um, so you can like start working on your gift knits over the several months leading up to like Christmas holiday time. So I started this one last year and I did not get very far. When I originally started it, it was like down here, I think. So that's where it was when I picked it up earlier this week. This is what I worked on when I was in the hospital with my 2-year-old. It's got this basket weave pattern that's like pretty simple. However, I will say the pattern is not written in a way that is very enjoyable. It is written in the style where every line is spelled out stitch by stitch instead of saying like we're going to continue this pattern and increase using this mechanism. Like you have to look at the pattern every row because it's written sort of cryptically, which I think is like sometimes good for newer knitters who aren't as comfortable, but when you're more established, it makes it harder to understand what you're doing because there's no like human parsable way to read it. I was actually just thinking there might be a chart for this in the pattern that's like lower down, and I would feel really silly if there is because I haven't been using it. I've just been following the line by line instructions. So I'm going to double check that. But anyway, the knit itself is enjoyable, and I'm using this Moondrake. It's just called Corriedale DK in the color Toffee. And I think it will use 2 skeins, so I'm still on the first one, obviously. And I have a backup. What else can I say about this? This is on size 6 needles that I'm working on. And yeah, right now it's a triangle, obviously. It's going to become a cowl. Like, I think you can tell right here that the triangle has stopped and now we're going more like straight up. So I think eventually it gets like seamed and it's like a bandana shaped cowl. I don't really know. I just needed something to work on in the hospital. So I just picked it up and started going. The next thing that I want to show you, this I will put a picture up. It is called Crazed Scandinavian, and the designer for this I had to look up is Wendy D. Johnson. So this pattern is available on Ravelry, and I also started this, I don't know when I started this, a couple years ago. But this is a colorwork cowl. It has a bunch of different charts, and you just stitch them all back to back with 2 colors. And this is knit in a tube, so like this could be a sleeve if you wanted a crazy sweater. So you knit it in the round and it's a tube, so that means when it's done, it has a provisional cast on this end, which is in like a different color of yarn. I don't know how well you can see that. So at the end, you take that out and put this side back on the needles, and then you sew it together to itself. So it's an infinity cowl that's also a tube, so it's like double thickness, plus it's color work. So you want to see my floats? Here are my floats. They look pretty good. So it's also extra squishy because you are carrying 2 colors for every row, and it's doubled up, and the pattern is written so that it can be a cowl that you wrap twice around. So they also give you instructions if you want it to be like half of that length, so it will wrap around once. So like right now it's not quite long enough. So a few more charts. I haven't decided if I'm going to do all of them or if I'm going to do like the half size. But yeah, this one is fun to work on. The patterns are relaxing. You don't have to like catch your floats too often because there aren't a lot of like big chunks of one color. It's broken up pretty well. And for this one, I am using Peary by Brooklyn Tweed in the colors Porter and Gale. So Porter is the black and Gale is the gray. I have this much left of each skein. I'm not sure if I'm on my first skein or if that's already the second one. I don't remember how many I started with because this is an old web. But I do like two color work. I do it with one color in each hand. So knitting continental with one hand and like flicking with the other, which I think is fun. So those are the two knitting things that I've worked on, and then I have two crochet projects. One of them is the granny stripe blanket that I believe I showed last time. It has grown quite a bit. So this is the one that I am using, this Karen Big Cakes in the color Toffee Brickle. I don't know if you can see that. 26006 Toffee Brickle. This is still available. I had to get more, so I know they still have this online at least. I don't know if they have it in stores, but how should I show you this? It's getting big. So I still haven't measured how wide it is, but it's wider than my wingspan, and I am 5'6", so it's probably like 6 feet wide. And so far, I don't know, what is that, like 3 or 4 feet long? So I am on my 4th cake, and I ordered 4 more. So I'm basically almost halfway done, and then it will be twice as long as this, which is going to be like big enough to go at least on a twin size bed, maybe even bigger. I usually end up making a lot of throw blanket sizes or baby blankets, so I don't have a lot that are big enough to be used by like multiple people on the couch or on a bed. So that's going well. I'm using I was going to see if I could find the hook to see what my hook size is, but I don't know where I put the hook. So if you want to know what size hook I'm using, you could check my Ravelry page because I have it on there. On Ravelry, my name is hmmnope. It's HMMNOPE. I'll put it on screen. And I think I listed on there what the hook size is, or you could just ask me and I'll check. And so while I was waiting for the yarn for that to come in, I started another blanket, and it's basically the exact same blanket. It's another granny stripe. This one I was inspired by CJ Designs, who has a blog and also has their patterns on Ravelry, has a blanket called the Primavera blanket, and it is a granny stripe blanket where she used this yarn. This is Karen Blossom Cakes, and this yarn is different. It's like a tube. So the other one is like a typical yarn that's like, you know, worsted spun. This is like a, I don't know if you can see. The strand is like a tube with the fibers blown through it, and it is made to be like a mohair dupe, I think. So it's got like this fuzzy halo. Well, you could see that, like over here. So it's very soft, but it does like shed a little bit while you're working with it. And it looks very similar to the blanket I just showed you, except smaller and different colors. So for this one, it's almost as wide as the one I just showed you, but a little bit smaller. So I can reach like both ends. So it's probably 5.5 feet wide-ish. And instead of doing equal stripes, so with this one I'm just doing like two rows of each color, and I am like fussy cutting up the yarn so that the stripes end at the end of the blanket. This one has 3 rows of a single color and then 1 row of this like whitish color to break it up. So there's less changes in this yarn. I mean, I have to change the yarn less times because I'm doing 3 rows. Well, I guess it's the same amount of times. I have to switch colors the same amount of times because it's 3 and 1 instead of 2 and 2, whatever, math. But the yarn itself changes color much more frequently. So this one is meant to be stripes, and this one sort of like fades in and out of the different colors more often. So it looks more like sort of watercolory to me. So like each chunk of color in between the white is a different skein or cake of yarn. And I bought the same number of skeins that the designer recommended, so there's like 2 of some of the colors and 1 of the others, and she also put a border around hers at the end. And so my other blanket, I am like tying off the yarn every time I switch, so I have a ton of ends, which I wove in most of them the other day. But this one I am tying knots when I get to the end. So like you can you see that right here? I'm tying little knots for the color changes, and then they're going to get covered up when I do the border around the edge, which might just be like a single crochet border in the white color. I'm not sure yet. I think that's what the designer did. So yeah, those are my projects. That's everything I've been working on. I don't specifically have any knitting or crochet plans except to keep working on the blankets, hopefully, and then anything else that strikes my fancy. I have a lot of knitting whips. I think I might have more cross-stitch whips now than knitting and crochet, which is new and fun, and I definitely will have more after October is over. So that is a flip. Or actually, that might have been true for a while. I think I've got 30 or 40 yarn whips, and I definitely have more cross-stitch whips than that at this point. So yeah, I don't think that there's anything else that I wanted to say. Hopefully the vlog style video that I'm going to do works out well. If it ends up not working out well for some reason, I might just film once a week still with everything that I did. But I think it'll be more fun to do it vlog style, so I'm going to try to do that. My little guy might be around. He has not been napping at all since we got back from the hospital. He's just like, I don't need naps. Which is usually the time that I film. So we'll see if I can get little clips snuck in here and there throughout the day. He might be sort of like, you might hear him in the background sometimes, or, you know, maybe one of his brothers or his dad can entertain him for a few minutes. But yeah, I'm really excited to get going on all of my Halloween projects. A lot of the ones that I'm starting I've had in stash for a year or two. So I'm really looking forward to getting all of those going and getting some more work on the whips that I do have for Halloween. I hope you get time to stitch today. I hope you do something that fills your cup. And yeah, I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.